Now let's go to the conflict, climax, theme, and style in the story The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. So first, kay conflict. The major conflict of the story is man versus self. So the narrator kills the old man because of his eye that vexed him. So the narrator even said nga he loved the old man. And it's just that he does not like the old man's eye. It bothers him. And wala po'y gibuhat ang old man para masuko siya. So the major conflict present in the story is the narrator himself. And sa last part pod where he struggles a lot to resist the old man's heart that it haunts him. So second element or next element is the climax. The narrator murders the old man. So this part was very intense and at the same time very sad. The narrator throws the old man on the floor, gisuffocate niya using the old man's mattress, cut off his head, the arms and the legs, and hid them beneath the floorboards. Theme: cruelty. The narrator likes and enjoys that the old man is terrified and scared. Kato na ning part when the narrator is about to kill the old man. He enjoyed it and that is cruelty. There is no mercy. Wala na luoy ang narrator sa old man and he even chuckled at his heart. Madness and sanity. The narrator tells the story to prove his sanity, but in trying to do so, as he explains his plans for killing the old man, he only proves himself guilty. He only proves his madness. The pressure of guilt. The narrator claims to be innocent, but the old man's heartbeat, which also symbolizes his guilt and conscience, made him confess the crime. Style. The author's tone in the story is overwrought, dark, and intense. In the first part, the mood implied by Poe is somehow overwrought as the narrator says that he had been very dreadfully nervous and it appears that he is anxious throughout the story, while proving himself that he is sane, but as we can see, his action says the opposite, especially sa last part where his heartbeat increases and he confesses siya sa crime. Dark and intense, like how the author describes the setting, the whole story actually, the old man's eye, and because gipatay ang old man, the plot structure brings intense. The details giun sa pagpatay, what the old man felt, and the emotional feeling of the narrator when he killed the old man, and what drives him to admit the crime. Now there is figurative language used in this story. So first off, verbal irony. It is when the narrator said nga he loved the old man, that the old man had never wronged him and had never given him insult, but has planned the eye to kill, or he is going to kill the old man. Another type of irony is situational irony. The narrator knew that or what the old man felt and pitied the old man, although he chuckled at heart. Sunod is dramatic irony. The readers know that the narrator killed the old man, but the police officers don't. The police officers are unaware. We also have a simile. His room was as black as pitch with a thick darkness, a simple dim ray like the thread of the spider. It was the beating of the old man's heart. It increased my fury, as the beating of a drum stimulates the soldier into courage, as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. I knew that sound well. It was the beating of the old man's heart. The simile in the story is the comparison of the darkness or room sa pitch, the comparison of the ray to the thread of the spider with the use of the word like. The old man's heartbeat is being compared to a drum beat. And lastly, the old man's heartbeat is also compared to the sound of a watch when enveloped in cotton or during the time nga gisuffocate niya ang old man. Symbolism. The old man's eye represents evil. The narrator's motivation of killing the old man was his eye, and for him, the old man had the eye of the vulture which really bugs him. Mamugnaw siya every time makita niya ang mata sa old man. And in order to get rid of that eye is by killing the old man. For that reason, it is considered that the old man's eye signifies evil and evil doings like killing. Another is the term of vulture. A vulture is a bird of prey, and if nay magpakita ng ani nga klase nga langgam sa mga movies, it is somewhat a sign that something bad is about to happen for us viewers or the audience. So vulture here is foreshadowing of that. Another symbol in the story is the heartbeat, which represents the narrator's guilt, feelings, and conscience, and his own fear. By the time nga he starts to hear a familiar sound, which is the old man's heartbeat, he thought nga nakadungog sad ang mga pulis and nagpaas if para sila nga wa sila nadunggan. Because of that, nag-guilty siya maayo until he could not stand it anymore. But the question there is, how could he hear the old man's heartbeat when he is already dead? So katudeng nadunggan sa narrator is his own heartbeat. And for that reason, the sound of the beating heart reminds the narrator of his deed. Imagery. Poe helps us picture out what's happening in the story through imagery. The story was very detailed and well described. And the two imageries that Poe uses is the visual and auditory imagery. We can visually imagine the eye of the old man, a pale blue eye with a film over it, dark room or the bedroom at midnight, the dark lantern that the narrator used, simple dim ray like katong natumong ang hayag sa mata sa old man, and dismembered body nga gitago sa narrator ilawom sa floorboards. Under auditory imagery, kay the shriek of the old man and the heartbeat of the old man and the narrators, katong when he hears the old man's heartbeat and nagpanic siya to the point that he confessed his crime. That's all for our report, The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe, its summary and analysis. Thank you very much for listening.